Good morning, Year 7. Welcome to Lesson 2 in Week 9 of our online science programme. I hope that you found yesterday useful and your Education Perfect seemed to be tracking very well. So well done with that. Today, we're going to use Teams and the class notebook a little bit. So it's our last lesson before your test on Friday. Now, please don't worry about the test. The test on Friday is LMS based, just like your Bunsen burner test was, or quiz. Largely multiple choice, with a little bit of free text in there. And you'll just need to click through. I'll release you a code. You'll click through the questions and then submit at the very end. And I'll be able to see your responses. Mainly just to show us as teachers how you're progressing with your chemistry learning. But for today's lesson, so first thing I'll get you to do is make sure that you're in your Year 7 Teams page. Now the posts is where we have our chat. You'll see in the posts the Quizlet. Now when you go into the Quizlet, what you can do is actually customize my Quizlet and make it your very own. So in yours there'll be a little square down here that when you hover over it, instead of edit, it says customize, and you can make that your very own. You can call it Zoe's Property of Substance Quizlet, for example, and then you can add terms and delete them and change the definitions as much as you'd like to. So that's the first thing I'd like you to do, is download the Quizlet, have a try of my Quizlet, see if you like it, see where your understanding is at, and make a note of any terms that you're not as strong on. Now obviously I will be available for you to support you via the chat or face-to-face if you'd like to do that. But that's probably a little 10-minute activity to warm you up and see where your understanding is right now. Second thing I'd like to show you is in the Files tab of our 7C Science page, you will see the chapter that covers states of matter and substances. You'll also see the chapter answers and the learning intentions. Now, word of warning with the learning intentions, we have abbreviated these or shortened them for your learning this term, because we know that we've changed our plans based on this virus. So we've trimmed it down a little bit. Don't pay too much attention to the content that's in there for the moment. Just use your class notes and use the resources that we've given you to revise from. Okay, so our test will be nice and simple and achievable for you. The main thing for today's lesson is I've set up an activity that's a revision activity for you. And what I've done is I've put it into your own class notes. So just using Abby as an example here. Now, why have I put 2 in there? The second one is the one we want. I'll delete that first one for you, Abby. So what you will see is, if I can shrink this a little bit, I'm just going to click on Properties of Substances. You'll see that there's a video. Now, this is 20 minutes long, so it's quite a long video, but it's a really good overview. And most importantly, I wanted to introduce you to Crash Course Kids. So my senior students use Crash Course quite a lot, and they have now got a middle school, so appropriate for Year 7, content available for you. And I find it has some really good information, but is presented in a really nice way. So I think this is a great series for you to subscribe to and use as we go all the way through. So watch as much or as little of that as you find you have time for today. Mostly just have a go at it and see if it's the kind of video series that you might enjoy. Here I've put the Quizlet link again, just in case you lose it. It's in your class notebook, your personal one. And then what I do is I break into some questions. So I really want today's worksheet to be a way for you to show your understanding and start to construct some test style responses to typical questions that we might ask you. Okay, so go through this. What I've done is included some screenshots, and these are from the textbook that is linked in your files. So if you want any further information, go back to the textbook and have a look at that. So there are some questions here, one about why we use models in science, and then here what you can do is you can annotate the diagram. I've asked you to annotate it using draw, so you can click on the draw tools and actually use your pencil to label the diagram for me. The questions continue all the way through, and again another screenshot from the textbook. So what I'd like you to do as the main part of today is to show me your understanding in this class notebook. I can see as you work, so I can give you feedback on your responses, and you can ask me questions in the posts if there's something you don't understand, or you can do that privately in a chat. Now at the bottom here I have two possible investigations for you. I really like to stick with the science skills and keep you experimenting even though you're at home. So the first one is a bit more, it sounds very simple, but it's a bit more of a science investigation that you can run yourself. And it's just using a few ice cubes. So I need you to get 3 different ice cubes in 3 different conditions. And then I'd like you to follow the steps here and record your findings and your observations. And ideally, you'll take some photographs, you'll draw some sketches in your logbook, and you can upload images straight to here, so straight to your class notebook, and respond to the questions that I've asked at the bottom. And an even more fun experiment. So this one is embedded in the science method. This is a bit more of a demonstration of concepts. Now, if you've done the Education Perfect density columns, then this is more of a kitchen version of that. And it's just using some equipment and some ingredients that you have in your pantry at home. You could even add your own ingredients and working out which are more dense and which are less dense. Okay, so follow the link and have a go. Now make sure that you get parental permission, because I really don't want you using precious ingredients from your pantry and then finding that you've run out and you can't get any more. So make sure that you are only using things and in small volumes that you have permission to use. And then by all means take photographs and upload them to here so that I can see how you've gone. It's a really nice way to demonstrate your understanding of, or develop a greater understanding of, density and some of the things that you're familiar with, such as this uses honey and dishwashing detergent and water and oil to work out which is more dense and which is less. So something fun to have a go at this week if you get some time. So by the end of today's lesson, I'd like to see you addressing these questions, and it goes all the way from 1 to 10. And then I would really like you to have a go at this first practical, the second one if you possibly can, and if that works for you at home. Okay, now stay in touch in the chat on Teams. Use your Quizlet to revise from. Summarize your notes. If you've got some A3 paper like a poster, then you can build yourself some visual summaries of the content that we've been learning so far. And let me know how you go. Take care, Year 7.